Hey guys, it's Drek and Ghost, and today we're filming in 1080p, hopefully. If that's not working, let me know in the comment section below. If that's something you were waiting for, I hope it was worth it. I spent quite a reasonable sum on getting some 1080p goggles so I wouldn't have to change my format, and I would be able to bring you better content, because that's what it's all about, is bringing you guys better content. So I've been requested to make this video, and I honestly wasn't sure which way I leaned, so I spent a couple of days thinking about it. And this is a Strife versus Modulus video, and it's exclusively from a modder's point of view. So I went out and purchased a brand new Modulus and removed all of the garbage from it, so it's just the base blaster. I feel like that's the most fair comparison to the Strife. I took this out of my storage unit. It is a old school double your darts. It's actually, I'm running very low on these, but I grabbed one of these and I wanted them to both be exactly the same. I loaded them from the same pack of Duracell batteries, so they should be very, very comparable, as fair as I can make the comparison. And then, of course, since it's double your darts, I have the ability to load the 6-clip twice. Ghost is sporting her Halloween bow that the Draculina put on her. I think she likes that an awful lot. So we're going to start with the aesthetics of the blaster and which one I prefer and why. So the Strife has come in a variety of flavors and colors. There's the blue and white version, then there's the OJ version, or the orange one, and then the Modulus so far is just white with the orange and green and gray. Now, in terms of which styling I like better, I have to preface this statement by saying that I saw some things on my trip to Nerf headquarters that I am not allowed to talk about that lead me to really like the Modulus styling. Not as a standalone thing, but as a just complete unit. And I've done some spoilers for like the Recon Mark II and the Modulus pistol that was leaked in China. So I like the Modulus styling more than I guess the average person would, because I have some extra information about it. Now, I also really like the old school N-Strike color scheme, and so when the Elite color scheme came out in blue and white instead of being neon yellow, I like the neon yellow because it clearly defined things as a toy. This is... I've always been a little sour on the Elite color scheme. It's okay, but I never liked it as much as the yellow and black. Just like when they changed the bandolier, it made me sad. Anyway, so as far as the color scheme available, I prefer the Modulus. I think it's clean, I think it's cool, I think it's got quite the future ahead of it. And that's another thing worth talking about. The Modulus has at least a foreseeable future, whereas the Strife is unknown as of yet if it will be continuing into the future. It's getting harder and harder to find them on shelves, so that basically is what it is. I saved a few and I'm running low on those few, so I'm always looking for new ones to pick up. Now, other things to talk about are the overall shell profile and comfort. So as far as the Modulus goes, the Modulus has a built-in foregrip, which is cool. It has a carry handle, which I despise, and it has a slightly skeletal handle down here and trigger. The trigger is sweet. I prefer this version of the clip release to this one, which is choked up. And that's just because of how my hands fit and work, but I hate this handle for long-term play. I find that my thumb knuckle digs into here, which is agitating, and I find that my fingers just do not like this nearly as much as the very comfortable Strife handle. I like it a lot. I like that its sling point is better located than the skeleton handle here. There actually is not a convenient sling point on the Modulus. So as far as comfort and ergonomics go, I have to give it to the Strife, just because the Strife is exactly as small as you want it to be, as small as it possibly can be, but has the ability to add all of the extra stuff. So you can see here that they are functionally the same blaster with some slight variations in terms of the shell. So the Modulus just has a ton of stuff on the front, which leads to a little bit of almost inconsequential barrel drag, and then this is a much worse jam door scenario, because again, this carry handle is just awful. Why is this here? So I don't like this jam door. I do love this jam door. It's very efficient. You can even carve some of this out. I'm reviewing these in their stock form for the comparison, which is why I got brand new out of the box versions, but that's how it is. So as far as one-hand wieldability, both blasters are one-hand wieldable, but the Strife is much more weight centered towards the back, and I like that a lot, as opposed to the Modulus, which has all of its weight in the forward. That's great for a two-handed blaster because it lets you distribute the weight. It's terrible for one-hand wielding because you're constantly pulling down, and I don't like that very much. So as far as the firing capabilities go, it should be very obvious that the Modulus fires smoother than the Strife, and we'll get to that in just a second. The ranges are comparable across the board. So we're going to switch to this. Those are very similar groupings, flight patterns, and fallings of the darts. Fallings, ranges, I guess is the better word. So the reason for that is that they have the same internals and they're running on the same power source, and neither one has been modified. This is where we get into some goofy performance issues. So you can see that there's nothing inside the Modulus to prevent you from firing as many darts as you can cycle through in... If I press all the locks, I can't get to all the locks. Oh, it's because the jam door is open. So the trigger cycles just as fast as you want it to, and yet when we do the same exact thing to the Strife, it won't fire at all. Now, why is that? Well, that's because the Strife in its stock form has a dart stopper or a dart lock up at the top, and if there isn't something pressing up on that, it will not fire. Now, that limits your rate of fire in a stock Strife. So for stock only game types, you can in fact cycle, especially if you're used to modified blasters, you can overcycle and jam your blaster by impacting that by trying to fire too fast. And I'll try to do it here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, since this clip is very fresh and it should feed very reliably. Since again, like everything being new traditionally works pretty well. Well, that wasn't too bad. I'm sure I could cycle a little bit faster if we went full paintball, but again, just I don't like having that extra liability in the blaster. It limits rate of fire slightly, if not significantly, and in a platform where everything else is equal, I have to talk about the things that differentiate the blasters. There's also one other elephant in the room, in that the Modulus costs $10 more. Now, with that said, which one would be my pick for the better base flywheel blaster? I have to give it to the Strife, although I do not like the color scheme and I hate the locks. The fact that it costs less money, at least for its MSRP, and it is a just vastly tighter platform for working with, and once modifications have been done, it is just overall superior. I think that that is worth giving it credit where credit is due. I have modified a Modulus, and modified they perform on par, again depending upon which motors and system of power you throw into place, but that is kind of my comparison video. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts as the Nerf Nation. I want to know which one you would choose if given the choice, and just for fun in the comments section, let's pretend that they cost about the same. Since the Strife is getting very difficult to find on shelves, I think that the price point becomes a little bit less important. So if they cost the same, which would you rather have? Would you rather have a base Modulus, which is more of a two-handed blaster and has much more rail attachability but a slightly wonky handle, or would you rather have a Strife, which is a very compact platform that sits nicely in the hand but has a weird dart lock? So that's kind of my opinion. I hope it influences your decision. I hope it was an interesting video at the very least, and again, what I really would like to get is your opinion, because it matters a great deal to me. So thank you very much for watching. That's been a versus video. It sounds like Ghost is very ready to go inside, so I'm gonna cut the video there.